that went out different than I thought. Hey guys, and Happy New Year, first of all. Yeah, I was busy visiting some family members and driving around the country, so I'm sorry for not posting recent videos. But now I'm back, and I hope you had a good start. I had, and I started off by remodeling my guest bathroom. And I have this huge mirror, as you can see on the picture here, and I want to make some kind of border around it out of wood, and I thought it should look like a Key West styled driftwood. So I went to my next home improvement store and bought me some cheap wood, very soft wood. And what I'm going to show you is how to age this wood to make it look pretty old. To start off, we need some kind of grinder or angle grinder or a Dremel with a wood tool, just to give the wood some specific shapes, because it's too straight now. It looks too machined and it needs some organic lines in there. Then we need some basic colors. You can use whatever you like or you have at home. I think this was, I painted the Adirondack chair with this, or Adirondack chair, or whatever you're calling it. So this is a leftover of that, and it's a turquoise blue. This is a very old white. I think it's all latex color. This is black. This might be a what is it? Acrylic kind sort of paint. And we need some water. In my case, I already have some dirty paint water, a brush, steel wool, and some white distilled vinegar. So what we're basically doing is we take an old cup, we put some vinegar in there, and we put some steel wool in there, and we let this sit for about a day, maybe 2 days even. 2 days gives me a better result. This is how it looks. It looks pretty nasty in there now. The vinegar oxidizes, or it's taking off the protection layer of the steel, what causes the steel to oxidize pretty quickly. So what this basically is, it is a solution of vinegar and rust. I start off with a color wash. I give it some blue stains, and then I let it dry. I grind off some of the paint, and then I put on this solution here. Most of the tutorials, I think, they do it the other way around. They first put this on and then they put some paint on or whatever. I'm doing it the other way around. Whatever works best for you. By the way, there is still a 30-year-old ladybug on my working bench. That was from my previous video. Link on the upper right corner or in the description below. This basically came out of a Sega Genesis console from, I think it was 1989. Right, so I should bury this little poor guy. So we start off with giving this piece of wood a little used look to it. So now you see we have some little damages and little streaks in there, and I start off by putting a very light whitewash on there. So what I basically do is very simple. I take me a plastic container and I take me my paint. This basically is very old, so the can has rusted in there and all the grains and granules were falling into the color, which for weathering purposes it's ideal, because it's not a proper white, but it is a dirty white. As you can see here, it has all this stuff in there. Usually you would throw this away, I imagine, but I keep this stuff because this is ideal for this kind of purpose. So what I basically do is I just simply take a little bit of this rusty stuff, put this in here, try to close this up as good as I can. Okay, so next I will add a little bit of my water. You can use, it's water, it's just a little bit dirty. And yeah, I will mix this stuff up until it gets a very diluted white. Put way more water in there. We want something that is basically not even really giving off too much color. It should just, yeah, it should be a wash. I mean, I have a piece of cardboard here. Okay, so let's brush on some color here. And notice, don't be, you know, this should look old, so don't be precise. Just put some color on there on certain spots, and certain spots it can be thicker, on other spots it can be thinner, it doesn't matter. And later on we will grind some of the white away anyways. So now I put a little bit more color onto certain spots to give it a little bit more texture, what comes out later on when we use the angle grinder. So we get some nice color residues on some certain spots. Okay, so step number 1. Step number 2, we take some turquoise color. Now I will just add a little bit of turquoise blue on this wooden spoon. I will put some of it some spots, and then I will wash the rest into my whitewash. Okay, so I have a little, very little color on here. We'll just go over some of the edges. For now it doesn't have to be too precise, because we will grind away a lot of this stuff anyways later on. Don't forget the sides, depending on if you see it or not. I will use some paper. Well, what basically, you could also use some newspaper to give it a little bit more texture. I just want to soak up some of this color. I just want to have some spots here and there which are thicker in color. For now we don't worry too much about details. And if you're asking yourself why you're not seeing the other side, is because this is just for demonstration. I already finished the other wood planks that I will use for the bordure. I will show you these in the end of the video. Okay, so I will leave this to dry now for about an hour or something. This stuff, as I said, I put this in 2 days ago. So 48 hours, which makes it even better. This stuff is nearly clear when you brush it on. It will sort of develop on the wood, so it takes another half an hour or to an hour. This stuff stains as hell. I found it out myself when I spilled it on my garage floor. You won't see it in the beginning, and it will, when it starts drying, it will become darker and darker and darker until it gets brownish like this stuff. So be careful with it, and it stings. Also, this stuff, while it is still in there, it is producing some sort of fumes that gives me a sour throat. So I would recommend doing this in a ventilated area. By the way, also this is a chemical reaction, so when you put steel wool into vinegar, it creates heat. I would do this outside and leave it there for 2 days. Not that something melts or, you know, catches fire, whatever. Good, so what we do next is we try to grind off some of this color here. This should be fine for the first coat. We are actually making a couple of coats. This is just for a basic thing that we have, a basic look, but this still looks brand new. So what we do next is we use our vinegar and steel wool solution. So as I said, the stuff is nearly clear. It's brownish, but it's not like a decent color or something. But it will stain. It will stain pretty good on wood, also on cement. So, and then we just brush it on. So we are the next day. I forgot the time yesterday, and I had so much other stuff to do that I had to come back today. So this is completely dried up. Unfortunately, I made a time lapse, but the camera shut off somehow, so I don't have that footage, which is a bit sad because I wanted to show you the actual well, kind of ripening process of the stuff on the wood. If I move this over, you see this was how it looked before, and this is how it looks now. So pretty nice contrast, right? It looks quite well, but as I said, I want to have it a little bit more in the Key West style, so I will add another whitewash to this now, a very light whitewash. Then I will add some unthinned white paint, some spots and stuff, you know, I can grind off later on. Maybe I add some more turquoise or some more blue as well. Okay, so I'm quite happy with how this looks like. So I will do this in a bigger scale now. I already pre-cut. This actually is a leftover piece of wood. So I pre-cut this border that I want to put around my mirror. So I make this in a larger scale, and I will show you a picture how it looks when it's finished. I hope you enjoyed. Please subscribe and give us a like. If you don't like it, you can just double click on the thumbs down. That works as well. And I hope I see you next time. Until then, see ya!